John is going to give us a presentation about where we are with our the strategic plan that we briefed you on, and y'all have actually participated in surveys relating to. So come on down, John.
Dan Bennett had a great idea, Jim. John Kerry could introduce the film for us if you'd like. Maybe not. I don't know. Just a thought. I want to give you about 25 hours. No, I'm just kidding. A very quick summary update of the process that we all went through together as an organization. The strategic planning process we really have been working intentionally on for over a year, a little over a year, and before that, a few months of planning to do the process. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background, executive summary, some study areas and findings that we came up with, some improvements, some of which have already been implemented, and some recommendations. So first of all, you've seen this before. The Strategic Planning Committee was assigned by the board and consisted of Skip Bell, John Butler, whoever that is, Alan Gravel, Alan Katz, Kerry King, Kurt Mueller, and Norm Zoller. And we've met 6 or 8 times over the year and worked behind the scenes pretty diligently to get this done. Also, Dr. Tim Boone, who's a member of AVVBA, who is also a professional consultant, was brought on board to help us in the process. A very helpful guy. So first of all, the primary goal of this was to recognize and honor as an organization our past, what we value, what's important to us, why we were organized in the first place, and what has become and still is and potentially has evolved into what's important to the organization. Maintain a current understanding and criteria for membership. We actually decided through the process, you actually decided that we will continue, this organization will continue to be an organization of Vietnam veterans. There's pluses and minuses of that process, but ultimately what we discovered is that the only reason why some people, frankly, there's any voice against that idea and opening up to other people was a lack of understanding, really, a lack of a depth of understanding of the legacy the AVVB Foundation has in place and is promoting going forward. So we'll talk about that in a second. Continue to extend our commitments for high quality meetings, speakers, social activities, field trips, service opportunities, more and more service opportunities or opportunities for those you'll be hearing more about, including one I'm going to mention at the end of this little talk, and an update of our mission to reflect the fact that over the past several years, and especially the last several months, our organization has been very intentionally focusing on helping other veterans. And it's not really in our mission statement, so it needs to be fixed. So the study areas, AVVBA's legacy, that includes history, mission, relationship with AVVBA Foundation, members or membership, meetings, social activities, service opportunities, field trips. And what we did is we had, as you know, we had 2 surveys. One was fairly extensive, and there was 165 responses. We also had a follow-up survey because one of the questions was not as clear as it should have been when it was stated. There were about 90 responses to that one, so a combination of those. About 800 suggestions from those. We're going to implement every one of them starting today. Just kidding, not really. Guided roundtable discussions. Last fall, how many were you participating in those roundtable discussions? Would you raise your hand? Just curiosity. Almost everybody. And David did, but he didn't respond to him. So David Bockel was here. He did not raise his hand. I want you to call him out on that. All right. It was very helpful. We learned a lot from that. The surveys actually informed the discussions. The discussions is really where we got the primary meat of the information we utilized. So the findings, what we discovered, some of it we just confirmed, some of which was relatively new. The AVVBA legacy really is, as Skip mentioned, the foundation was established 10 or 15 years ago now to become really the legacy organization of the association. So there are several initiatives. There are 3 initiatives in place that will outlive all of us. And we're really pleased about that. We need a better understanding of that. We discovered that because there's a lot of people don't really understand that. As Brian Tate coined the phrase, I'll give him full credit for this, one generation of veterans helping the next. That really has become the de facto purpose of this organization. That's really what we're mostly about these days, if you think about it. And again, it doesn't really show up in our mission statement or our purpose, but that's really what most of us resonate with. We have 14 new. There's been an assumption that we don't have any new members because we're all old, and some of us are old. Not myself, of course, but we are getting older. But we've had 14 new members join in the last 14 months. Did you know that? 14 new members. Now we've had some die on us, right? Been to a number of funerals myself, but we continue to have the opportunity to reach Vietnam veterans who, frankly, don't just need us, if you will, but would really, their lives would be benefited significantly by being part of this organization. That we also discovered that the primary topic that people liked the best was military topics, social activities. We want to plan some with spouses, service opportunities. There are more service opportunities that our members are engaged actively in than we are aware of. And there are a lot that they're engaged in and that we are aware of, and a lot more that we're not aware of. So we need to collect that information and do something about that. Field trips, mostly day trips. Most of us, I was telling someone a while ago, my wife and I went to the beach over the last week or so, and we ended up driving a few hours after dark. And we decided, as we were doing that, we're not going to do that again. So our field trips are going to be day trips, right? So anyway, so some of the illustrative improvements that we have already we recognize, and some of which we are already in the process of implementing, some of which we already have implemented and will continue to implement. There's 2 pages of these real quickly. I think they're 2 pages, yes. Give members the opportunity to share their stories. How many of you were here last month? Raise your hand, please, at the meeting discussion. Quite a few. We had a full house. We did table discussions, very positive reactions. I learned some really great things, including from Mr. Terry Garlick, who's sitting at my table. And we are all going to gang up on him and make sure that he talks to Sue Verhoff today and gets signed up. He's got a fantastic story. And I'm just picking on you, Terry. But I didn't know that about Terry. And there's a lot of stuff we learned during those table discussions that were really helpful. We tried to do, and we will continue to do, a variety of approaches to do this. The table discussion opportunity gives everyone a chance to share their story, and with about 5 or 6 other guys, and everyone to hear stories of 5 or 6 other guys. One at a time gives everyone the opportunity to hear one person, maybe 2 or 3 per week. So over a period of about 5 years, we can do all the whole thing. So we have 2 different options there, but we're going to talk about both of those. Recognizing members who have achieved awards and honors. Mark Walker does that to some extent every month. We have an initiative underway to do that in a more focused sense, a few at a time throughout the year. Every meeting, we need to remember and be reminded that you can invite another Vietnam veteran to participate in this meeting, and you need to, because there are people out there that could really benefit from this group. So do that. And then get speakers to talk about their military-related topics and military history. Expand the stated AVVBA mission or purpose statement, whatever, to underscore the practice that we already have in place of serving veterans of all ages and branches. Reporting updates regularly about the Foundation activities will help us connect and stay connected in a more meaningful way between this association and our AVVBA Foundation. Invite spouses to attend. Marcy is the sacrificial lamb. She's here today. I don't know how often she can stand to be here, but we love it when she's here. And so some of us will invite our spouses. It'd be great to do that. And there'll be certain topics that will make that more clear, I think, to do that. And make a list of all the field trips that we liked a lot, and some of this we'll do again. So that's those are the 2 or 3 a year is kind of the idea. So those are the recommendations. The recommendations were put forward to the board last month. The board unanimously approved and endorsed those recommendations. And as I said, many of the illustrative improvements have already been implemented and will continue to be. Stay tuned for more. One point, if Skip doesn't shoot me, all right, going to have another impromptu survey. Last May, AVVBA was a vital component in serving the We Care Fair at Cobb County. How many of you participated in serving in that event? Would you raise your hands? Quite a few. Would you do it again? All right. So it was so successful. There were 2,500 veterans served all day Friday and turns out about half a day Saturday. During that time, there were 100 providers there, all of whom provided something of value to the veterans. Not a swag, not a Schlotsky, whatever, a pin or something of real value. Legal assistance, haircuts, everything in between. 2,500 veterans. First time we ever did it. I say we, I was a volunteer. Home Depot was so impressed with that, they funded 3 for 2023. One will be in May the 18th in Rome, Georgia. I'm going to ask Skip to send out an invitation for a few of you to spend half a day or all day in Rome with me on that one day, because we do the same thing there. We don't need 2 or 3, we only need a few. And it's different because it's in Rome, right? Cobb's going to have one on Friday and Saturday, August the 4th and 5th. All day Friday, half a day Saturday. Love to have some of our participants in that too. And then we're having one in DeKalb at a conference facility over there on September the 13th. So just be aware that we are expanding opportunities to serve in meaningful ways that resonate with us. That was a very successful thing last year. We're going to do it again this year. A lot of other things we have the opportunity for.